Tuesday, December 20th, and I called it. My name is Peter Apple. That's Jack McMullen. Welcome to the Just Baseball Show. Not quite 6 years, $180 million for Carlos Rodon. Like I said, 6 years, 162. That's pretty good. Called it. Dansby Swanson of the Cubs. The other ones I didn't call so good, but I still want to take credit for those two. Jack, how are you? I called it.
I'm fine. I'm in Puerto Rico. I didn't call it like you did. But I am sitting here. I've got a medalla in hand, which is the magic elixir that they serve here in San Juan. So I'm living my best life right now, and I won't let you rubbing Carlos Rodon in my face get in the way of that.
Yeah, that's fine. We have a couple other signings to get to. Normally, we do a lot of the GM episodes. We aren't exactly sure how many more GM episodes we will do because we had a ton of signings over the weekend, and we're going to go over all of them in this episode. Jack is on island time. He's got a beer in hand. I'm on the other side of the country with about 4 cups of coffee in me with Packers Rams on the mind, plus a lot of these MLB signings. We're on completely different wavelengths, but we're meeting together to talk about them.
It's a Christmas miracle, right? Or for my fellow Jews, a Hanukkah miracle. Happy Hanukkah to you fine folks out here. Baruch atah Adonai, so on and so forth.
Happy everything. Let's get straight into Carlos Rodon.
Happy everything.
So the Yankees agreed to a 6-year, $162 million deal with, what did I say? Carlos Rodon signed a 6-year, $162 million with the New York Yankees, giving them the best rotation in all of Major League Baseball. Yes, I said it, and I'm here to debate it. You're going to lose the debate, though. Garrett Cole at the top, followed by Carlos Rodon. You have 2 ace-level pitchers, followed by Nestor Cortez Jr., who has flashed ace potential. Luis Severino, when he's on the field, that could be an ace, but the problem is staying on the field. And then you have Frankie Montas in the 5, who came over from the Oakland A's in that big trade over the deadline and didn't show what he had shown in Oakland. This isn't another Joey Gallo, or at least I don't think it is. Yankee fans and all fans knew when they were possibly trading for Frankie Montas, they knew that the shoulder was an issue at the time. I think it still bothered him. I think he's going to come back next year and perform very well. But of course, the Yankees shouldn't be done signing because the problem in the playoffs was the offense. It wasn't necessarily the starting pitching, but getting a guy like Carlos Rodon gives them the best starting rotation in Major League Baseball. And as a White Sox fan, how did it feel?
That's a loaded question.
It is.
It was fine because the one that hurt more was seeing him do the thing that he did this year in San Francisco, because he should have done it with the White Sox. He should have been extended the qualifying offer. He was non-tendered by the White Sox and brought back on a 1-year, $3 million prove-it deal 2 years ago, I want to say, maybe 3 years ago. But what Rodon has done to change the narrative about himself in a single season, and I remember talking about this 2-year, $44 million deal with that mutual option, with that vesting option, where if he hit that innings threshold, then he was going to get the ability to opt out. And obviously he did, and obviously he got a massive payday. But, it was so incentive-based, that contract with San Francisco, because his entire White Sox career, he didn't make it through years unscathed. Like, that did not happen to him. And I remember saying on this show, when he signed that contract with San Francisco, I said, it looks good right now, but wait till August. And when we were talking in April and you were like, Carlos Rodon looks like a stud, he looks like one of the best pitchers in baseball, I said, yeah, right now, let's talk in August when he's been shut down for a month already. That never happened. So the fact that this guy changed the narrative to the point where he was over $150 million in a single season tells you how stupidly talented he is. And I'm so happy for a guy that White Sox fans loved. The people I know that have interacted with Carlos Rodon love as a guy, beloved by his teammates, beloved by his family, and a stupidly talented pitcher getting his bag. There's something to be said about that, and I commend the shit out of Carlos Rodon for doing so.
Just to quantify what you're saying about the innings, totally right. In 2020, he threw 7 innings. Of course, it was a shortened season, but 7 innings is 7 innings. 2019, 34 innings. 2018, 120. The year before that, 69 innings. Now, 2015, 2016, pretty much healthy, 26 starts, 28 starts. And then in the last 2 years, first with the White Sox and then with the Giants, with the White Sox, 132 innings and then 178 innings last year, which of course got him the big bag. So I said on this podcast as well, I want to give Carlos Rodon whatever he wants. I think there are questions with all starting pitchers. And what I know is that when he's pitching, he's as good of a left-handed starter that we have in our game. But again, I'm a Yankees guy. I might have blinders on. I thought it was a good deal. I thought it was even less than what I thought. The market was, there was a lot of 5-year deals out there, and there was a couple of teams who would go to the 6th. And Rodon, he actually came out and said, or at least there was a report from the New York Post, that the Yankees were his preferred destination. So it ended up working great for both sides. The Yankees ponied up, gave him that 6th year, and Rodon wanted to be a Yankee. But I'm curious, from your perspective on the outside looking into this deal, do you think it was too much money? Like, I don't.
No.
But do you?
No. Point blank, no. It was
Good.
not too much money. This is where the market was, and Carlos Rodon got paid in a market-appropriate way. Carlos Rodon, that doesn't shock me at all that he would have loved to pitch for the New York Yankees, because this dude has some of the biggest perceived genitals that I've ever experienced, right? Like, this guy, when you watch him pitch, when you watch him MF opposing hitters and throw 99 miles an hour on pitch number 112 to blow it by somebody to complete a complete game or whatever pitch number it was. This guy has balls, and guys with balls can survive with the New York Yankees. I think that a lot of the people that flounder with the New York Yankees cannot take criticism. They cannot take constant pressure. And I think that Carlos Rodon is the type that wants pressure and wants to self-manufacture pressure. I think any given start on a Tuesday day game when he was with the White Sox, this dude was trying to whip himself into a frenzy that you cannot come back from. It is that intense. And I think that that's what you can get every time you toe the rubber at Yankee Stadium or donning a Yankee hat, right? I think that's what Rodon fed off of. I think that's what Garrett Cole feeds off of. And I think that's what Aaron Judge kind of feeds off of. And Judge feeds off of it in a very different way, where Rodon and Cole are kind of cut from the firecracker cloth. Judge is cut from the silent assassin cloth. And I think that those three being the three faces of the Yankees moving forward, along with Nestor Cortez, who's cut from an entirely different cloth than anybody in Major League Baseball, I think that serves as a massive success. And I do want to push back on you saying that Garrett Cole's an ace, because I saw that MLB trade values had his value in the negatives.
Yeah, well, we can go back on that and look at that trade simulator and see that Garrett Cole and Nestor Cortez Jr. for Max Kepler actually creates the same amount of value. So that is a big bunch of horseshit. But what isn't horseshit? But what isn't horseshit is expected ERA. And I want to just talk about it for a second, because expected ERA is something that I look at a ton, whether I'm gambling on baseball, or I think that it is a very good way to look at a pitcher. I like it better than FIP. I like it better than XFIP, because what it is, it's a simple translation. And this is a definition from MLB.com. Simple translation of expected weighted on base average. Now, I don't want to bore you, but we have talked about xWOBA before. And what that does is it takes into the amount of contact, strikeouts, walks, hit by pitch, takes in your quality of contact, exit velocity, launch angle, in an attempt to credit the pitcher or hitter for the moment of contact, not for what might happen to that contact, thanks to other factors like the ballpark, the weather, or the defense. So guys who were really, really good last year, at least at the starting pitchers, who was ahead? Spencer Strider, Christian Javier, Clayton Kershaw was really good. And then who's the next starter? Carlos Rodon, ahead of guys like Verlander, ahead of guys like Shohei Ohtani, Dylan Cease, Nestor Cortez Jr., Aaron Nola, Shane McClanahan. I just wanted to put the stamp of approval on Carlos Rodon, the ace. And I think at 6 years, $162 million, it was well worth the price, and Yankee fans should be very excited. Was that too much? That felt like a good, I said it slow, not too much. Hopefully people didn't turn off the podcast. Felt like that was pretty good.
No, and the The people that this is my favorite. I just had this conversation with Taylor Davis. And by the way, go in the next couple of days, actually go check out Show and Go, a podcast that we're adding to this network. It's myself and Taylor Davis / Peter for like episode 2 or 1. Like having these conversations. I'm out of commit. I'm on island time, as Peter said, but
Yes.
we're going to have a lot of these conversations with a guy that is currently playing baseball at a very high level. Like he's, gotten consistent tastes of Major League Baseball. He is as close to an on-field manager as you will find in minor league baseball. He is a longtime AAA guy, constantly getting up to the bigs, and he's got a future in managing and in being an executive, like whatever he wants in baseball, because he garners respect in clubhouses. And I just had this conversation with him about analytics being used as this umbrella term. And I just think it's so funny because like people say, oh, the analytics don't tell you anything. Do you want to know the all-time leaders in WRC plus? It's
Sure.
everybody that's fucking good at baseball.
Shocker.
Like Babe Ruth, number 1, Ted Williams, number 2, Lou Gehrig, 3, Mike Trout, Rogers Hornsby, Barry Bonds, Mickey Mantle, Ty Cobb, Joe Jackson. Like, are you serious? They're all good baseball players. So yeah, expected ERA, like chances are if you've got something like expected ERA, you can't tell me that means nothing, because all those guys that you mentioned at the top, they were all really fucking good at pitching this year.
They're all really good at pitching. And the thing is with that is, if you have a really bad defense behind you and you give up a weak grounder and your shortstop sucks, does that mean that you didn't do your job as a pitcher? Like, that's how we have to look at it. But with that said, it's not that we just discount the other stats. Like an ERA is an ERA. That's how many runs you gave up. Now, is that the end all be all? No. Is expected ERA the end all be all? No. You got to look at the whole picture, and context is important for every single stat. Like, if Aaron Judge had 70 home runs in Coors Field versus 58 in Comerica versus, like, these all matter. It's all about context. It's all about where you play, and it's a big fumbled mess. And that's why we have the Just Baseball show, to try and talk about it as much as possible.